Hey, what's going on, everyone? This is Mitch. Good Friday evening to you all. Hope you guys are doing well out there, feeling well, and having a fantastic ending to your day. Hopefully, this is the start of a 3-day weekend for most of you folks. If it's not, regardless, hope you guys are doing well, and definitely appreciate you folks tuning in this evening. I know. I was not supposed to make a video this evening, but I'm not going to stay with you guys long. I'm going to give you some quick information on this coastal low, but I think a video was warranted this evening just due to some changes that I'm watching here in the next maybe update or two into the overnight hours into tomorrow. Watching a little bit of a severe weather threat potential right along the immediate coastline of like maybe southeast North Carolina, around the Wilmington region. We're going to watch this, and then we're just going to give you an update on this coastal flooding that could occur. And I mean, I'm talking about just rain falling from the sky. Several inches of rain could fall. You could have a little bit of storm surge. Just onshore flow pushing in on the northern side of this low could really affect areas like the North Carolina coastline especially. So we could have some coastal flooding and some problems that really could get going tomorrow. Even though this is considered a non-tropical low, could have similar impacts to a tropical or subtropical low. Still has that 10% chance to happen here in the next 24 hours, but it's doubtful that it is. So we're going to give you some quick information, and then I'll let you guys go on and enjoy the rest of your Friday evening. If you folks have not subscribed, certainly consider doing that. Like the video if you like it. If you guys got anything that I can pray about or pray over, as always, please put it in the comments below so I can pray over it and so others can do so too. Let's get rolling. Let's take a look at the latest update from the National Hurricane Center. This has not changed. Non-tropical low. This is the center of whatever this is right now, which it's still trying to get its real spin together. I think as we wake up tomorrow morning, we will really see a serious spin ongoing. If you're kind of a late nighter and stay up late, then I really think you'll see it overnight tonight. But as of right now, just an area of disturbed weather, and it's developing a little bit of a surface spin to it already out there. But 2 p.m. update, still just that 10% risk of developing within the next 2 days. So we're not expecting this to become our first name storm or lean or anything. But the sun is beginning to set on it. As you can tell, the screen dims out this way. It's still lighter over here, but the sun is beginning to set. But we're going to see what kind of spin this thing has. And if you look really closely, below all this mid-level and high-level clouds, you can see a little bit of a spin right in here. You can barely see it. Even I can barely see it. But the cloud deck has already fully pushed into all of the Carolinas, and will be fully entrenched into the area over the next 36 hours. And the weather is going to go downhill significantly. I'm telling you, don't even try to play around with the forecast tomorrow. If you got outdoor activities in the Carolinas, just cancel it. Just bite the bullet and just stay inside. Find something to do inside. Deep clean the house. Just something. Play some cards. Play some, board games, whatever it may be. But it will be a raw day tomorrow. Potentially, if you're in areas of like the western Carolinas, you might have a few hours in the morning, but yeah. So all this rain right now is just sitting just off the coast of the Carolinas. Heavy rain has now moved into, moderate to heavy rain has moved into far kind of southeast coastal areas of North Carolina and most of the coastline of South Carolina. A lot of this green that you're seeing right in here really isn't reaching the ground yet. For example, it shows it raining at my house right into this region, but it's not raining yet. It's just cloudy. A lot of dry air entrenched into the region. I'm going to show you a really cool graphic that I think you guys will kind of nerd out with me about and kind of really talk about what's going on. There's two clashing of air masses that are really going to be battling out tomorrow, and it's going to be really cool to watch. I'm going to kind of enjoy just watching the development of this. There is an outside chance that you'll wake up tomorrow morning and you'll see a live video of me and I'm heading to Wilmington, North Carolina. Guys, I just can't help myself with chasing these events. So if you see that, don't be surprised if I chase tomorrow. Don't be surprised one bit. But this is what's going on. It has that look of kind of the front end of a tropical system. But it's a non-tropical system. Let's take a look at the latest HRRR model, how this can continue to unfold overnight. We'll start off around 3 a.m. If you're ever confused about what time frame we're at, look at right here. We're in Eastern time because we're looking at the Carolinas, which is in Eastern time. And check it out. You already got rain in kind of these same similar areas. And I can tell you between now and the next several hours into the overnight hours, the rain shield is not going to push that far inland. But as we're getting closer to sunrise tomorrow, the wee hours of the morning to sunrise, rain finally begins to push northwest and a big shield of rain will blast into the Midlands of South Carolina, the Sandhills of North Carolina. Rain really picks up along the coastal regions, and this is when more moist air really begins to take over more of the dry environment and the dry air in place. But this continues, and I mean, this comes in fast and furious. By the time we're about mid to late morning, shield of moderate to maybe at times heavy rain blasting into the Columbia, South Carolina, Augusta, Charlotte, North Carolina region. It's raining very heavily for the eastern half of South Carolina. Like I said, up here in Greenville, Spartanburg, the western areas of the Carolinas, Asheville, up to Hickory, Winston-Salem, you might have a few hours tomorrow morning. So if you need to get anything done tomorrow, and you really need to get it done tomorrow, head to the store or whatever. Do it. Wake up early, beat the rain, because by the time you get into the early afternoon, about 2 p.m., this really begins to make it to the mountains. And this could move faster or slower than what this is showing, but this is the main shield of rain. This begins to blast through. But as this sector opens up down here, some more moist air begins to build into this region, and you could have some storms as the surface low really kind of fully makes a landfall right into here. So we'll stop here. It's around 5 p.m. tomorrow, right? Just a steady, light to moderate at times heavy rain for all the western Carolinas. But you begin to get some breaks in the eastern Carolinas. That doesn't mean the sun's going to come out. It could, but it's very doubtful. But look at these heavier returns showing up. Some oranges, some reds. This introduces a storm threat. It depends on how high the dew points get. Can some instability build into this region? Remember, on these low pressures, sometimes on the northeast, the eastern quadrant of these systems, sometimes even the northern areas of the low pressure, which will be down here, you got to watch out for what we call the dirty side of these low pressures. But normally this is associated with tropical lows, and this will not be. But there's going to be a very moist air mass as we're getting into about the prime time of the day tomorrow, sitting right off the coast of the Carolinas. So eventually we'll move into the Carolinas tomorrow, but some of the ingredients will drop off that support severe weather. But what I'm saying is, I'm telling you, if you're from Myrtle Beach up to the Cape Fear region, all the way up to, I would even say to the southern extent of the Outer Banks, Wilmington, all this entire region right in here, watch out for some severe weather tomorrow. I would not be surprised if the Storm Prediction Center issues a marginal risk into this region and even throws in a 2% risk of a tornado. Not going to call it, but I say if they do, it'll be for this region right here. Okay? We got to watch for these storms. But these storms quickly move into a very stable air mass, right? So, if you're about 50 to 60 miles inland, you probably don't have the atmosphere that supports severe weather. But if you're right around the coastline or just several miles inland, it does. And, you look at this little feeder band. I'm telling you, you got to watch out. It's around 6, 7, 8 p.m. tomorrow. Watch out for this little band wrapping its way through Wilmington. Just be careful. This surface low begins to finally make a landfall based off the HRRR model sometime tomorrow afternoon or evening. Area of heavy rain. This is when you could have a little bit of a flooding risk that begins to develop in the mountains tomorrow evening. A little bit of an upslope flow where basically the changing of elevation, the clashing of air masses, all this provides. Brad Panovich, a meteorologist in Charlotte, had a great breakdown of this coastal low this morning. Very smart guy, definitely respectable. Well-respected meteorologist here in the Carolinas. But he explained it well. All these factors, the clashing of two different air masses, just the rising motion of this hitting these higher elevations squeezes out all the moisture in the atmosphere. So, there could be an area right here in the foothills, even in the upstate South Carolina, it could get more rain than maybe, say, the Piedmont or the Midlands of South Carolina. So, we'll definitely need to watch this. But, if you're wondering about Sunday, Sunday's a tricky day. It is, I would say, Sunday and Monday are more of a tricky forecast than Saturday. Saturday, we know it's going to rain like cats and dogs. Sunday, weird day. And we'll talk about that here in the next video or two. But, guys, there's now a moderate risk of flash flood guidance being met in this red area. This includes Myrtle Beach through Wilmington all the way to the southern region of the Outer Banks right in here, Jacksonville. And then in the yellow area, that is a slight risk, at least a 15% risk of flash flood guidance being met. It includes Greenville, Columbia, Charlotte, Winston-Salem, Greensboro, Raleigh, Fayetteville, Asheville, and all these regions. Florence. But the red, that is a 40% risk. So we're going to have flooding issues tomorrow. Someone's going to get over 6 inches of rain most likely. And speaking about the rain totals, in the National Weather Service, the experts are going for almost 7 inches of rain, 6 to 7 inches of rain in and around the Wilmington region, going for 5 to 6 inches of rain in and around the Myrtle Beach area. As you notice, there's a little bit of a pretty strong cutoff right in here, as the real push of moisture is on the northern side of this low. So, there's going to be kind of an axis of heavier rain right here from the Midlands to, the mountainous regions, throughout the Piedmont, the Sandhills, and then the coastal regions right in here, where you can get anywhere from 2 to 4 inches of rain. So it is going to be an all-out soaker. Winds will also be an issue. That's why I didn't even get home and do any yard work this evening. There was no point, because I know if I would have went out there, blew some leaves around, picked up some sticks, I would have turned around and been doing it again Sunday after this storm blew through. So I just didn't even bother with it. But, we're waking up tomorrow morning. Winds could be gusting down here in South Carolina, especially the eastern and southeastern half of South Carolina, anywhere from 30 to 40, maybe at times 45 miles per hour. Winds begin to really pick up here in southeast North Carolina after lunchtime tomorrow, and then it's still very gusty from the Midlands of South Carolina, even eastern Georgia, all the way into the eastern sections of North Carolina. Very gusty winds ongoing, very breezy. It's breezy out there right now here in the Carolinas. I can voice to this here in central South Carolina. It's almost like a blustery fall evening out there. It's actually nice, but the winds will be even stronger tomorrow in these regions. Not, damaging winds, but certain areas along the immediate coastal regions could certainly get some stronger winds for sure. Somebody could probably gust to 50, 55 miles per hour. I wouldn't be surprised one bit. But speaking of that storm threat, for now, for tomorrow, for now, the Storm Prediction Center just has a general risk of thunderstorms. You get down here and discuss this. It just says a surface low is forecast to advance northward towards the North Carolina-South Carolina coast of the period. RAP-NAM forecast soundings along the coast show generally northeasterly low-level flow for most of the day, which means it's saying it's basically going to be funneling in a lot of dry, stable air from the northeast. And this will limit inland advance of substantial low-level moisture and keep appreciable severe chances offshore. And we'll talk about that here. These are dew points, okay? I mean, you're waking up tomorrow to dew points. I don't think they're going to be this low. In fact, let's just look at the blend of all models. I think that's it's a much better way to look at this. In fact, let's see if we can look at the National Weather Service. Okay, yeah, let's look at the National Weather Service. National Weather Service, you're waking up around 6 a.m. tomorrow. Very dry air. I know that doesn't make sense saying, hey, it's dry, but it's raining. But if you understand a little bit more into weather, I'm not going to get way into it. But anyways, if you got rain falling and the dew points are in the 40s, I mean, yeah, the humidity percentage is probably 99 to 100%, right? But your dew points, it's not a humid rain. The dew points are only in the 40s. So that's why I preach, and I actually made a video on it about 2 or 3 years ago. It's deep in it's one of the videos out of over 1,600 videos I've made. I talk about how it's better to use dew points on your weather apps than it is humidity levels. Everybody wants to look at their humidity levels, but guys, they do not tell the story. They really don't. So we'll go into that another day. Not going to dig deep into that and go super geek mode on you guys or anything like that. But look at this dry air. A ton of dry air funneling in from the northeast, but watch as these dew points rise in the 50s. The 40s begin to get replaced with the 50s. The 50s begin to get replaced with the 60s down here. So we'll stop it. This is around lunchtime tomorrow, 12 o'clock. Dew points are starting to climb into the 60s. Okay, so you're starting to get a humid air mass moving in response to this surface low, pulling all the moist air off the Atlantic back inland. So, I mean, this is around 4 p.m. You got dew points almost around 70 in Wilmington when you woke up to dew points in the 50s. Cool, crisp, kind of fall-like air mass. You're ending the day with more of a tropical air mass. You'll feel this in Myrtle Beach too. Okay, and this builds in, and then the surface low really kind of moves in. And then dew points, I think tomorrow Sunday afternoon will really feel more like a tropical air mass in the eastern Carolinas, especially far eastern and northeast sections of South Carolina. But this dry air will try to wrap back in as we get into Monday. But That's pretty much all I got. When we really need to watch this, sneaky severe weather threat. I'm not saying it's going to be a big deal or anything like that, but really what I'll show you here is if you look at the updraft helicity swath in this region, right? Let's look at this. If you notice, it shows some rotating updrafts right off the coastline, but as soon as it gets inland, they disappear, right? So that tells me that you got some pretty decent ingredients right off the coast. In fact, if there was land right in here, I would say there would probably be a slight risk up. Maybe a 5% risk of a tornado, but as of now, they're thinking the better ingredients for severe weather is just going to be just offshore. You look at the significant tornado threat, and I mean, you see it. You see this feeder band actually coming right off the coast. You see where these STP values, the significant tornado parameters, are well over 4, 5, 6, and then they're coming towards the coast, and then they hit a brick wall. You get into 2, 3 p.m., and it's pretty high right off the coast of Myrtle Beach, right off the coast of Cape Fear, right down here. So I might be getting my geographic. Cape Fear is right in here, ain't it? Let's see. I don't have my phone. Yeah, dude. Let's see. Cape Fear. Sometimes I get my areas mixed up right there near Wilmington. Let's see. No, that's Cape Fear. Cape Fear area right in here. Sometimes I want to say it's right up here, but it's right here. I would say if you're going to get a severe weather threat, it's going to be right in here. Okay, watch out for some water spouts. And just watch out in this area tomorrow afternoon. So that's all I got, guys. Thank y'all for tuning in. I was rumbling through that video. It's probably because I just drank me an energy drink, so I'm jacked up. So you guys make the best out of tomorrow. It's going to be miserable, but I don't think we're going to have to deal with this the entire weekend. God bless all y'all. Have a great night, and I'll talk to you soon.